quand on est sur on top de notre game, on a beaucoup plus la rondelle. Puis ça part beaucoup avec le forecheck.
Est-ce que justement, tu parles d'une enjambée de plus, on a vu quelques enjambées de plus ce matin. Est-ce que ceci explique ça? Ça a été un entraînement assez intense.
C'est responsabilité. C'est pas des punitions. On est responsable.
Sur le même thème, j'étais curieux de savoir l'exercice de la fin, vraiment le gros patinage intense. C'est quoi l'intention derrière ça?
Responsabilité.
Peut-être reposer, quand tu regardes tes derniers matchs, c'est quoi vraiment les correctifs précis que tu veux apporter? Vraiment, qu'est-ce qui a à ce point-là pas marché contre Boston et contre Vegas?
Ben, je te dirais que c'est deux différents thèmes. Je te dirais que contre Vegas, on n'a pas géré le risque. On n'a pas. On s'est tiré dans le pied beaucoup. Contre Boston, on a couru après la rondelle parce que notre forecheck, on n'était pas. On travaillait pas ensemble sur le forecheck. Fait que quand que les gars sont pas à bonne place, ça patine pas, ils anticipent pas. Mais là, tu cours après la rondelle. Contre une bonne équipe de même, ils te font payer.
Tantôt, tu disais, première réponse, ça arrive à un bon moment. Évidemment, les 2 défaites, ça arrive dans l'année, c'est pas grand-chose, ça arrive à un bon moment parce que vous jouez mal, c'est mental. C'est pourquoi que ça arrive à un bon moment?
Ben, tu sais, ça fait 4 défaites là, en ligne. Ben, je pense que c'est 4, là. Tu sais, puis je sais, les 2 premières de ces 4 défaites-là, on jouait du bon hockey. Mais là, ça fait 2 games qu'on se ressemble plus comme on se ressemblait. Fait que, tu sais, je pense que c'est un creux pour nous autres, là. Chaque équipe passe à travers de ça. Puis ce creux-là, mais c'est dans ces moments-là que tu te fais juger beaucoup. C'est pas quand ça va bien quand tu te fais juger, c'est quand ça va pas bien. Fait que d'avoir une semaine du jour ensemble, essayer de se replacer, se corriger, c'est important. Moi, les creux, ça fait partie d'une saison, mais c'est comment tu te corriges. T'sais? Fait que c'est ça qu'on va travailler là-dessus, puis on va être en équipe. On va être tous ensemble, on va essayer de faire ça sur la route. Fait que c'est pour ça que je dis que ça arrive à un bon moment.
All right, talk about correcting things. What's your biggest concern right now with the team?
Well, from last game? Just in general. Well, it's hard because it's like you patch something and something, you know, you're juggling a little bit. And I mean, for me right now, just based on the Boston game, is our forecheck. Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the Grey Cup yesterday or how closely you followed the Alouettes this season.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't. Yesterday was a day off. I actually went home to Connecticut and spent time with my wife and my youngest son. And
what might your team or players be able to take away from, if anything, from what the Alouettes were able to do this season?
Well, I mean, first of all, congratulations. You know, I think I know like they weren't a heavy favorite, right? And I think and that's why you play the game. You know, it's whatever it says or what the paper says or what, you know, your chances, so to speak, are. Doesn't matter once the game starts. You know, that's why we play the game. And, you know, so congrats. And you know, I guess the message or the lesson is, you know, everything's possible if you know, everybody's pulling in the same direction and you have the right mindset. And, you compete, and they did that. Obviously, it's a big thing.
We'll end with questions from Eric Hartman. I already have 2 questions for you. The first is just your players obviously showing up at the rink this morning. I'm sure they knew that their performance was unacceptable on Saturday. So I know you said today's practice is about being responsible, but what's the value of it? What's the value of a practice like that?
Well, I felt like it depends. You know, today was a work day, obviously being accountable to, you know, to where we are in terms of workload and whatnot. And I think, but there's so many ways to get what you want, you know. And as a coach, for me today, the guys worked, but there was purpose behind it. I mean, I don't know if you watched the drills, but, you know, like we were working on part of our game that we have to improve.
You used the word soft to describe their performance on Saturday. It's not a word you use frequently. You had a practice today that I understand what you're saying. You were working on specific things, but there was an element of it, obviously, that was addressing that softness, so to speak. Do you see it in the same vein as when you went into the room and I think it was against Winnipeg, and like you said that you could only fire those bullets. You only have
bullets to fire. Like, is it important for your team to see?
I think so, but I don't even think today's a bullet, like, to be honest. You know, it's just the truth, and you know, we got to be accountable to one another. I'm pretty sure the players expected this kind of day today, you know, and if a young guy didn't expect that, I'm sure he was told by an older guy that been in the league long enough that know that what's coming, but I don't believe in just make them work to work. You know, you got to have a purpose behind it, and I felt today we killed two birds with one stone.
I mean, how much, when you mentioned earlier that you lost 4 in a row, but in 2 of those games you were playing good hockey, how much, if any, impact do you think not getting the result in those 2 games has led to?
A little bit, you know.
What does that do to a team or your players when you're doing all the right things, you're not getting rewarded for it? How does that manifest itself to what we saw last time?
I mean, I always say your mental has to be stronger than your emotions, you know, and I think our mental toughness has slipped a little bit, you know, and it's a hard league, and we know we probably deserve better in the first 2 games of this 4-game slip, but, you know, and then you you're trying to get a win against 2 of the best team in the league. You know, it's like it's hard, but it's doable. We just didn't get it done.
You mentioned Saturday night how you lost. I mean, you just played 2 of the best teams in the league 4 times in whatever span of whatever. That you've had some hard teams on your schedule. I'm wondering if early on in the season did you kind of realize that you were getting some of the less strong teams, I guess?
Yeah, I felt like schedule-wise, the workload and the strength of schedule early on was somewhat favorable. Not saying that you know is going to be easy for our team, but I felt like they were bites that we could take. You know, we could chew on, and I thought we did that. And now the next like 10 games were definitely much harder, and I expected us to compete, and which I feel we did for the most part. But now we've slipped a little bit. It could be, feel a little bit deflated a little bit when you're playing well and not getting the result. And for a young team, we just got to stay mentally strong and just stay at it. So we just got to get back to that. And it's like I said, I think every team's going to go through that this year, and younger teams are more vulnerable for it. And this has to be part of our growth. You know, when you're facing these top teams, you see their best, like it makes you, there's a lesson in there, and that's what that's the way I'm approaching it.
Deux questions. Tout d'abord, qu'est-ce que tu connais de Jayden Struble? Puis quand tu mets le doigt sur le pouls de ta brigade défensive en ce moment, qu'est-ce qui pourrait venir aider au niveau de ta brigade défensive?
Strubes, mais c'est un bon patineur. C'est un gars bon compétiteur. Il compete sur la glace. Il est capable d'être physique. Pour mon défenseur, présentement, je te dirais, tu te défends pas à 2. Tu te défends à 5. Fait que c'est pas la responsabilité juste des défenseurs. Mais je te dirais une des choses qu'il faut améliorer un petit peu, c'est gérer notre risque et puis faire des choses un petit peu plus simples quand on a rien en avant de nous autres.
Par ailleurs, au niveau de l'horaire, chaque voyage en Californie, il y a le décalage de 3 heures. Souvent, c'est des matchs rapprochés. Là, vous en avez 3 en 4. Mais en plus, tu as 2 games qui sont en matinée. Qu'est-ce que ça change au niveau de la préparation, le fait qu'il n'y aura peut-être pas de morning skate, des affaires de même, il y aura probablement, évidemment, pas d'entraînement non plus. Fait qu'au niveau de la préparation en vue de ces matchs-là, c'est assez
Oui, non, ça va être assez compact. Tu sais, habituellement, on a une chance d'avoir des meetings le matin, des meetings le soir. Là, ça va être plus compact. Fait que on va voir comment on va gérer ça. Mais oui, c'est différent. Puis avec le décalage. Mais c'est compact pour l'autre équipe aussi. T'sais, fait que faut aller jouer au hockey.
Martin, t'en as parlé un peu des défis que peut représenter le décalage horaire. Toi, comme joueur, c'était quoi peut-être les trucs que tu as pour, quand tu partais de l'Est pour aller dans l'Ouest, c'est quoi le défi ou les trucs pour combattre ça?
Bien, sois sûr que tu as ton repos, là, puis tu t'hydrates beaucoup, là, mais moi, honnêtement, comme joueur, je m'arrêtais pas beaucoup à ça. J'avais juste hâte que le puck drop.
C'est difficile pour ton corps, c'est comme à 22 h ou 21 h, puis ça fait que t'attends peut-être plus longtemps.
Honnêtement, là, je sais pas, moi, t'es-tu capable de jouer au hockey? Si t'es un joueur de hockey, là, tu vas jouer à n'importe quelle heure. Moi, c'était pas un défi. OK, merci.
think that's translated pretty well here.
It's been a bit chaotic for that blue line in Laval since the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how it's been and, you know, the pressure to not allow so many goals?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, for how hard it's been, I think our guys had a really good mindset, and we came to work every day. You know, obviously, I don't think we've gotten you know, the bounces that we would have liked, but you know, every day we were working hard, and we had positive attitudes, so it was fun to go to the rink every day.
You talked about the physical aspect with Arbor out. That's a big part of the game he brings. Is that something you think you can add, or something you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think that's kind of always who I've been. It's just, you know, hard to play against physical, kind of annoying out there. So that's something I'm looking to bring.
Is there anything to the notion that the way you play is better suited to the pro game than it might have been to an NCAA game where it's maybe a little less physical, a little less like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's for whoever's watching to kind of decide, but I think from you know, what I've played up at the pro level, I think it's been going good, for sure.
You had a good start to camp. What was the feeling coming in, and how much were you able to prove to yourself within that period?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. You know, I was able to train here for, you know, a month or two before camp, so just kind of being familiar with all the staff and the players was big going into camp. And then obviously just, you know, seeing how I stack up against players, and you know, just, you know, seeing it's a whole nother level. So just seeing how you kind of stack up was huge.
And how did you stack up?
Thought pretty good. You know, I feel like I'm moving pretty well. You know, my decision making has been pretty good, and you know, obviously I've been keeping that physical aspect. So I'm proud of, you know, how the start of the season's gone.
You didn't play preseason games, so do you feel it might be nerve-wracking if you have to play a game during that trip?
Yeah, I mean, anything. It's the NHL. It's pretty nerve-wracking. Just even, you know, coming in here to practice, it was, you know, a little bit nervous, but it's once you're on the ice, it's pretty chill and calm. You know, I know all the guys, you know, just from the summer and stuff, so they've made it really easy to come in.
You were talking with Stefan Robida before the practice. Was it just small talk, or was it more?
Would you say sorry?
Stefan Robida, the Roby.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, just small talk. Everyone came up to me and, hey, Strubes, congrats, you know, welcome, and you know, the players were the same way. It was a very warm welcome, and you know, I felt welcome here for sure.
Jayden, I know a big part of the decision in signing with Montreal, obviously you were drafted by them, but you obviously would have seen the logjam at your position, and I know it was sold to you that development will be, if you see the way they've developed other players, you'd have an opportunity to be in that program. How have you benefited from it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, just in Laval, I feel like every day I got better. Every day I was working hard, and you know, Bucky with the D, he was really good. Just, you know, he's tough love, and you know, you know exactly what is expected of you day in and day out. So, you know, I thought, you know, yeah, like I said, every day I got better, and you know, I feel like I'm in a good spot right now. Just keep working.
And now the opportunity to work with guys like Adam and Marty St. Louis. I know you've worked with Adam a bit. Like, how much could that benefit?
Yeah, huge. I mean, even just, stepping on the ice with Marty is an intimidating kind of presence. Yeah, it's awesome. Just, you know, just trying to soak everything in, and I mean, just be where I have to be on time and early, and just, you know, present is pretty much my focus here.
Already 4 years since your draft. What makes you the most proud about your journey?
I think just how I've battled with adversity. You know, in college there were some injuries, and you know, things weren't really going my way. And then I think I've kind of flipped the switch this summer. Knew what I had to do to you know, play pro, and I think I did a really good job of just, you know, committing to that, and you know, going day in and day out and just working hard.
What's the feeling of being told that, hey, come to the NHL, but also pack a bag, you're headed to California?
Yeah,
your first road trip?
That was crazy. You know, he called me and he was just like, yeah, like, congrats, you're meeting the team in Anaheim and then San Jose, and it's just like, it's the craziest thing I've heard. You know, really cool trip, and you know, for my first time here, it's definitely really special.
It's super cool, but I'm worried.
Yeah, we're still trying to get them open for shots, and I think we've done a decent job, but yeah, teams are definitely eyeing on them.
In terms of Saturday's game, I don't know if you caught it, but Marty kind of qualified your game as soft in certain areas. I don't know if he's communicated that to you, but does that resonate with you as a player when you hear a coach use that word? It's pretty rare.
Yeah, I mean, I think our game was soft. I don't think as a team we're soft. I mean, yeah.
About the game.
Yeah, I think we didn't play good. There's no denying that. We were slow. We were late on pucks. We were turning the puck over, and I don't think we played like. There's different terms you can use for soft, but I mean we definitely played soft on a team that plays hard, and yeah, it was unacceptable, and we know that, and we understand what we have to do better.
Was today's practice a reflection of that, you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard skate. A few days in between games. We knew what we were probably going to go up against today in practice, so we were ready, and I think the boys skated hard, competed, and that's all coaches want to see after those games.
How usually this trip is going to be for the switch things around?
Yeah, it's really important. We can't keep losing games. You can't pile on the losses, and it's a big opportunity to go out west. Play some teams that I think we can have some good games against, and yeah, I think for us it's just a matter of getting back to where we were a couple of weeks ago, of competing, making plays, and getting our confidence back.
And being together for.
Que vous n'ayez pas été récompensé pour votre bon travail, puis qu'à ce moment-là, ça vous plaçait mentalement dans une position un petit peu plus difficile?
Je pense qu'il y avait beaucoup de choses qui est arrivé. Il y avait ça, il y avait le fait qu'on a joué beaucoup de hockey dans une couple de semaines. Donc peut-être qu'il y avait un peu de fatigue là. Mais ça, c'est notre job. On doit être prêt à chaque nuit pour travailler, pour être prêt pour l'équipe opposée. Puis c'est sûr que tu dois être même encore plus près quand c'est des équipes comme Vegas puis Boston.
Jayden Struble, on ne sait pas s'il va jouer dans ce voyage-là, mais il part avec vous. Toi, quand tu as fini la NCAA, tu as joué dans la Ligue américaine ou tu es parti direct dans la Ligue nationale?
Oui.
Tu as passé combien de temps dans la Ligue américaine?
Presque toute la saison.
C'est ça, je voulais savoir un peu le challenge dans un espace d'à peu près 6 mois de NCAA, un tout petit peu de Ligue américaine, probablement un peu de Ligue nationale. Décris-moi ce défi-là pour lui.
C'est sûr que il est ici pour une raison, puis ça veut dire qu'il joue vraiment bien, puis il s'ajuste à la Ligue professionnelle très bien. Donc, je pense pour lui, c'est déjà s'apporter ce qu'il a constamment, puis savoir que juste parce qu'il est ici, ça ne veut pas dire qu'il doit changer quelque chose.
Mike, how would you qualify today's practice?
Qualify or quantify?
Qualify, describe.
Okay. I would say that it was a work day. And I think that, it's a perfect opportunity for it. We didn't play yesterday, don't play tomorrow. And so I think regardless of whether we were having a lot of success right now, I think it would have been a work day regardless. But knowing that it hasn't, it was a perfect time for it.
Like I said, it's rare that we see the one-on-one battle drills and the skating drills. Obviously, it's related to the way the team played on Saturday. I'm just wondering, what do you think the value is of that moving forward?
I think it's all about accountability and realizing that the effort we brought against Boston wasn't good enough. And so you have to respond and show that you realize that, you get that, and that you're going to come to work and be ready to work and follow that up with another good practice tomorrow once we get out west, and then be ready to play against Anaheim.
The fact that that's rare from Marty, but he still has that side. Is how important as a veteran you would know this? Like how important is that to a young team to see that side of him too?
I think it makes it that much more impactful. A coach can come in kicking and screaming every single day, and at a certain point that becomes the norm, and once it kind of gets a little bit elevated, it's not as impactful. And so for him to bridge the gap between his regular self and then
So, I mean, you got to stick with it. Obviously, you can't be happy about it. And, I mean, we got to respond in the right way. So, I mean, today we thought we went to work and practice and get to go on the road here for quite a while. So I think it's going to be good for us.
Sean, there was a lot of stability on your line early on in the season. Where did you see things maybe slip a little or things change on your line that led Marty to switch things up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we were winning games. I think our line, me personally, I don't think we were at our best. So I think when you're losing, you got to expect changes, and that happened. So now we got to find ways to, I mean, help the team and get back on track in the win column.
Marty always seems like an encouraging, nurturing type of coach, but sometimes he can put the hammer down a little bit. How much more does that resonate when he actually does it, because he doesn't do it all the time?
Yeah, I mean, Marty's, I mean, as a group, we respect him a lot. I mean, he knows what he's talking about, and he guides us in the right way. So I think when he steps up in that sense, I think, I mean, you definitely want to respond. And I think, I mean, today was a different practice than normal, and I mean, that's something I think we needed. And like I said, we get to go on the road trip here, stay together for, I guess, a while and see each other a lot, and I think that's something that we need.
Sean, what's your biggest concern with the way the team's playing now, or the main thing you guys need to clean up?
I mean, I think there's a lot. I think the biggest thing is I thought we were playing good hockey for a good stretch there, and I mean, when you feel too comfortable coming into games and think it's going to be like that every night, that's when it gets away from you. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And we got to get back to work. And I mean, the little details in games, stay on top of that.
Just does it make it clear like how little of a margin of error you guys have as a team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we're a good team, and I think when we're at our best, we compete every night against any team in the league, and I think we've shown that. And I mean, we got to be consistent, and I think that comes on individuals, and everybody's got to, I mean, have their standards where they're coming in and expect to play their A game every night. And if it's not going your way, you got to find ways to produce or help the team.
What was the adjustment like for you last game, having your line mates pretty much for the first time all season?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know until I guess the day of the game, and I think that's happened to me tons of times in my career where you come in and it's a new line. So I mean, you got to adjust, and I mean, I've said it before. You're playing in the NHL, and there's no excuses. So I mean, you got to step up, and whatever the night has for you, I mean, you got to be at your best.
You've played out west most of your career. Just going from the East Coast to the West Coast now, have you noticed any challenges regarding the time zone difference and jet lag?
No, I think personally, I think the East travel's a lot nicer. I mean, I feel like we were on the road a lot, and I mean, had kind of longer road trips all the time. And here it's you go in for one game, come back, and I mean they're quick. So, I mean, I'm used to the travel. I mean, done it a lot, and I mean, yeah, I mean, you just got to adjust, take care of yourself, and be ready to go come game day.
With Struble coming in, what maybe impressed you about him at training camp, or what you saw from him?
Yeah, I mean, his attitude, and I think what he brings on the ice, he works super hard. I mean, I didn't get to see him play too much, but yeah, I mean, he's a hard worker. He's really happy, obviously, to be here, and you can tell that by the work he puts in every day.
I know
When you say that your line hasn't been at their best lately, I know that early on you were not giving any goals against at 5-on-5, and there's been more of that lately. Where's the difference in the style of play or the execution that might have gone from one to the other?
Yeah, I think it's the little details. I mean, I've lost my guy a few times off face-offs and stuff like that. So I mean, it's the small details in the game and the games within the game. So I mean, when you're on top of that and you win those battles, that's usually when you're successful.
I know we always talk about the process before the result, or especially in this team this year, but you're last in your division right now. Is there a kind of urgency within the team to win a couple, to go after these relevant games later in the season?
For sure. I mean, you never want to be in that spot, and I mean, losing's never fun. I mean, it's not just. I mean, you kind of take it personal, and I mean, it lives with you. So I think you lose a game, you think about it quite a bit and what you could have done better. So I mean, you don't really want to be in that headspace. So I mean, we want to get back on track right away.
How do you call the team's game